And then I'm going to check and make sure that we're live because I'm paranoid.
Okay, I love it. I respect that.
All right. Cool. We are live. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I haven't had lunch yet because I haven't been hungry yet.
Oh no.
So I don't know. I'm having a neurodivergent tummy day.
Yes, I have been there. Well, we are here to talk about ethical business, ethical sales. We're talking about making money in your small business, all of that good stuff. Yeah?
Yes, we are. That is something I have done not great at this past year, but have done pretty well at in the past. So, you already know. We can get into it if the people want to know, but I fell into a little bit of a money makes me a bad person OCD spiral for a while. And then your program, Money Making as a Leftist, helped me start climbing out of that hole. And then we've been friends ever since. So now we're biz besties.
Yes. For everybody who's coming from my channel, and maybe you haven't met Caitlin before, this is my biz bestie, Caitlin. They're an amazing human, book coach, a creative Audacity Fairy godparent. Overall, one of my favorite people, and very good about ethical sales and considering both yourself and your people. And I think that that's really important. So yeah,
for sure. I think where I struggle is that you are allowed to say things that are meant to encourage people to buy. But I'm like, hey, you can buy this, or you don't have to buy it. I know that this is not a necessity in your life, but if you want to buy it, please buy it. So now that's the gap that I'm trying to overcome, is being hey, you need this because it's amazing. Buy it, and just hope that the people who understand, if you literally don't have the money to buy this, please don't.
Right.
I don't have to tell them that. It's, I don't know. I'm in a weird spot, but I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a difference between being coercive and convincing and bending the truth.
Yeah, you can be convincing. I can tell you all of the wonderful things about my program, or this or that, or why it works for neurodivergent people. And that's not manipulative.
Mm-hmm. Or here's my question. What if it is manipulative? What if being manipulative is not an inherently terrible thing?
I agree with you, but I'm afraid to say that out loud on the internet.
That's fair. No, and here's what I mean by that. I think a lot of people hear the word manipulative and they assume ill intent, but that is not what the dictionary definition of manipulation is. And granted, there's a difference between its definition and its connotation, for sure.
Right.
But if we're going by definition of manipulation, it just means to exert control over something. And I don't think that is inherently always a horrible thing. If I am holding my child's hand as we cross the street, I am manipulating his body. But that is not a bad, that sounds horrible, but it's not, I am keeping him safe, and that is important. When my daughters, who have no fear whatsoever, when they run out into the middle of the road, which they've done 3 times this week, I scoop them up and I am manipulating their body in space into the car seat so that they're not going to get hit by a car. And I just think the word manipulation gets a really bad rap. And I think it's it's impossible to exist and not be manipulative, because you exist, you're taking up space. And so you're manipulating that space.
I agree. And also asking somebody for something, right? Being oh, hey, I'm not feeling well. Could you do this for me? Some people are oh, you're being so manipulative, or oh, you're crying to manipulate me. And I think being in relationships like that has made me very sensitive to someone thinking I am manipulative, because it has always been used as a reason why they're not going to listen to what I need. They're not going to engage in good faith. They're just, oh, well, this feels a little manipulative, so I'm going to ignore you because you're a bad person.
can I offer you maybe a healing experience, like vis-a-vis like my experience? So I think I was using my tears and my emotion to manipulate people subconsciously, but still it was happening. And that's where, again, that word manipulative implies that you know what you're doing. And I just don't think that's always true.
Mm-hmm.
And you might say, Megan, like, what even is manipulative then? Like, maybe we need another word. I don't know, but this is what I've got. So at one point, though, and this was years ago at this point, but I was crying about something. Like, originally, my husband had been upset, but then the fact that he was upset triggered me. And so I was crying and I was upset. And then my husband, very, very gently and very, very lovingly, instead of being like, oh, it's a little manipulative, don't you think? Like, instead, he was like, Megan, I love you so much. And your feelings are always valid and they're always safe with me. And also, I need mine to be safe with you. Like, is there capacity for both of us right now? Is there capacity for me in the future? Is there like a good, how do we make this work right now? Because I'm feeling a little like my feelings don't matter as much, or my feelings are dangerous to you. And I don't want to feel that way. And so we had such a like good conversation. I mean, it made me cry. It was horrible. I was like, I'm a horrible person. And he's like, literally not what I said.
That rejection sensitivity is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm totally there. Like, my partner asks me like for permission every time he wants to like go downstairs and play a video game. He's like, is it okay with you if I go play a couple of rounds? And I'm like, why are you asking me this? Like, because in the past, like, if he ignored his partner, she would get very upset with him. And so like we've both come with some eggshell baggage. And learning that we don't have to do that with each other has been a process.
Yeah, it is. It's super. And as someone with eggshell baggage in a relationship with someone who does not have eggshell baggage, it can feel like he's being very rough with my eggshells. It's like, hey, like, aren't you supposed to be? I know. But it's like, hey, aren't you supposed to be tiptoeing around me and my feelings? And it's like, no, actually, I don't want you to have to do that.
Oh, that sounds so nice.
It's delightful.
I've been able to let go of a lot of that. I still do the tiptoeing, right? I'm like, oh, how is this going to impact this person, that person, the other person? But sometimes I'm able to just be like, here's what I want.
Yeah. Well, okay. I think this goes back to the manipulation thing where it's like, you shouldn't make decisions based off of how you impact the world the least. Like, the world needs you in it. And like,
Megan,
I'm just saying.
Oh, that was rough, buddy. Yeah, no, because like, even with like my consumption, right? Like, I want to buy the thing that is least bad. You know, does it exploit people? Is it fast fashion, like this, that? And yeah, I have gone through my life trying to be as unimpactful as possible in that way, which I think also like in a like a throat chakra way, like makes me take up less space verbally and like visibility wise and stuff. Cause I'm like, oh no, cause then I'm too big. Then I'm taking up too much. But like the spaces that I take up are usually pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah. They're pretty popping.
Yeah. I just think like there's a lot of trauma around this, like, I don't know, overconsumption, religious trauma, fat trauma. Like, there's lots of stuff that coalesces to make us want to take up less space and like not exist. And like, that's goofy. I think we all deserve to exist. And like, I think that's a fundamental, it's a radical belief that everyone deserves to exist as they are, you know?
Yeah. I was eventually, maybe we'll talk about business. Sure. I was watching a reel. It was a clip of like, am I the asshole, like posts. So like one guy's reading it and then there's two people like on the couch responding. And this one person was very much giving like non-binary, they, them energy. I'm not sure 100% what their pronouns are, but I'm going to go with they, them. And they had like a curly, like mullet and like glasses. And I'm looking at this person and my first thought was like fear for them that people in the comments were going to be really nasty about like how they chose to present and like what their hair looks like and this and that, and being like, why don't you dress like a girl? And then I was like, because everybody should be able to just dress how they want to and to have whatever hair they want to. And I think the fact that, or rather, I think that people's discomfort with like queerness and autistic people and stuff is that we have unburdened ourselves from so much like societal culture shaping that they think it's like absolutely like fucked up that we don't ascribe to those things. And we are like, but those are just choices. Those are just options. And people are like deeply offended by that because they don't understand that like they don't have to do any of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, that'll be my own podcast episode. Like, I do want to bring us back to talking about how to run an ethical business, but like, I think to run an ethical business, you also have to stop believing in the way it's always been done, right? Like,
yes,
the bro marketing, the advice to scale and to like become hands off as soon as possible and hire other people to handle things in your business so that you can just scale and make more money and be more wealthy. And that's not what I want.
Hey, no, but that's huge. Like, that's a form of taking up space, just knowing what you do and do not want.
Yeah. Like, I did the math. Going into 2026, I just want to sell like my 10 more spots in my book incubator. And then I literally have a sheet like in my notebook open now where I'm like taking like the total that would be. So like, say I make X number of dollars, and then I want to break out like this would be for taxes. Like, here's my usual expenses, because I want to look at like, then how much like profit will be available for me for my financial goals. Like, I have debt I want to pay off and things like this. And I have been very paycheck to paycheck this year, and I want to get not paycheck to paycheck.
Right. Yeah. No, I get it. We had twins in 2023. We were not expecting twins. We had money set aside for one baby. We did not have money set aside for two babies. And all this stuff. And with twins, my income took a bit of a dip and everything. And so that combined so that, yeah, the last like year or so, we have been living less than paycheck to paycheck. We've been living on credit cards, which is like, you know, and I think this comes back to business where it's like a lot of small business owners who want to do business ethically have a lot of fears around making any profit.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I need to make a profit so that I'm not living on credit cards anymore. That's important. First of all, for my husband's mental health. Like, I'm one of those people who kind of like, I don't know, it'll probably work out. But my husband's not really like that. And it stresses him out. It's starting to stress me out. So anyway, so for mental health reasons, but not just for mental health, like also for very practical reasons, like how does you being poor help anyone? Like, how is that useful?
It's a very good question.
I know why it feels morally superior, but I don't think it's actually practically helpful.
No, I don't think it is either. Like, the world becomes better when like good people have access to wealth and then redistribute that wealth. Like,
I have a thought.
Go for it.
So the world becomes better when good people have wealth and redistribute the wealth. I agree with that, but I also think the vice versa is also true. People become better people when they are well resourced.
I can see that. I think there are like some inherent parts, you know, like Donald Trump. He's
right. No, I'm not saying like having stupid amounts of wealth makes you a good person. I don't think wealth and being a good person are actually that tied together, but I do think being well resourced gives you options to do good with that money.
Absolutely.
I guess I resist sometimes when people say like, oh, we have to put money into the hands of good people. Well, like, I don't know what makes a good person, what makes a bad person. Like, obviously, like Donald Trump sucks.
Yeah.
But
Like, I would say it's the choices that they make with that money, you know, like
exactly. And they need the money to prove it first, though, you know, to like
yeah,
make choices. So yeah,
I get that.
you
But,
have to earn money. You have to charge for your services so that you can be a good person with that money.
yes, yeah, and like getting specific about like what you want to do with that money. Like I want to support people's GoFundMe's, or I want to buy people's groceries at the grocery store. You know, you just want to swoop in and swipe your card and be like, haha, I was never here. Like some people want to do like really sort of just like chaotic gremlin random acts of kindness, and I'm so here for that. And then I'm also here for like sustained giving and supporting and, you know, like scholarships. And like there are so many ways to help people.
Yeah.
And when we're like, oh no, it is only morally pure for me to struggle and be poor, then like then who's gonna donate to Bob's GoFundMe, you know?
Right. It's I think this is something I see a lot in like leftist circles is
Oof.
feeling good versus doing good.
Yes, I agree with you.
Because I think being poor proves that you're not taking advantage of anybody. Because if you were, you would have money. But I think they make the inverse of that mean if you have money, you must be taking advantage of people. And I just don't believe that that's true.
That is the thing that like sent me into my spiral of like
Right.
OCD doom is I had a really, really good year. I had a money mindset coach. Like I was getting coached from like several angles, and I like my confidence was way up, and I was able to tell people my prices for coaching. And it was like industry standard. I was selling coaching packages 5K for 6 months of coaching, like $5,000, and people were paying it in full. I haven't been able to do that in a hot minute because when I celebrated making nearly six figures, which is still not a lot of money, like that's the bare minimum that you need to be able to like support a fucking household these days.
Right.
Like, you know, if you've got like a family with kids, you need
Yes.
that much money. It's just
Yes, we
expensive.
do.
It's expensive to be alive right now.
Yeah.
And somebody, a fellow leftist, called me out and was like, you posting this is rubbing your financial privilege in other people's face, and like you should be doing better things, basically. Like why do you have any of this money, basically? Like all of that money should have gone to other things. And it took me a while to like get out of the mentality that like, oh, like somebody told me I was bad because I made money. And even though logically I'm like, that's stupid, it still resonated internally. And it took me a lot. And like you and I have had this conversation like 5 times. Like we have talked about she called me a millennial 1%er, which is hilarious.
The sad thing is, even if that is like the 1% for the millennial generation, like it shouldn't be.
Yeah. And also that was like gross income.
Yeah.
And like half of that was expenses. And then I have to pay taxes. Like I wasn't sitting on Scrooge McDuck piles of money.
Right.
And like the implication that I was, and that if I was just going to hoard it, was like crazy. And I'm like, this person clearly doesn't even know me to think that about me. And then I don't know.
But it got in your head.
It got in my head. It got in my head. It got in my heart. It got in my gut. Like it made me scared to sell things.
Mm-hmm. I just think so many, we judge people on the right for saying things like, well, if you're so poor, how can you afford an iPhone? Like bullshit. But the left does it too.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're such a good leftist, why do you have even a cent to your name?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
It's the same fucking thing.
I had a roommate who was a leftist, like avowed democratic socialist. And she was doing like unpaid overtime
Mm-hmm.
Like when we switched to work from home, like she was a little ADHD, like distracted. And so she, like, it took her a bit longer to do the work that like she could have done in the 8-hour day, like in the office. And so she was like working an extra several hours a day to like meet her quotas and stuff. And I was like, can you like talk to your boss about perhaps an accommodation or like getting paid overtime for all this extra work you're putting in? And like she was like, no, because I don't want to lose my job. But she also didn't want to look for a new job.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, so you're poor and now you're being exploited and you think that's the best case scenario that you're going to get? And it just doesn't compute. Like, I think I'm going to get eaten alive. I think a lot of leftists romanticize poverty.
Yes.
And they think that they are better activists if they are poor.
Yeah. I think I grew up Catholic, and so that's very much what we were told. It's not always what we saw in the church. There were plenty of people who were doing just fine, but that's the stories. And as an autistic person in the church, I took that very literally. Like when I was 13 or so, I genuinely believed that the most moral and upright thing I could do was to be Amish and to deprive myself of everything except like what I could actually physically make and do. And like,
I've been there.
You know, and like, don't get me wrong, if you feel called to the Amish way of life, that's fine. But mine was a guilt thing. It wasn't, you know, and I think the left, there's so much beauty over there and so many good things. And I believe in the ideology, but man, we got to work on our people skills, folks.
Yeah, seriously.
And that's coming from an autistic person. So like, you know, it's bad.
Like it's all of us together against the oligarchs. And so
not against each other.
Yeah. And leftists should understand that.
I think there's a lot of fear in leftist communities of like how the right got so bad was like we kept letting it inch further and further right and calling people who used to be like very right-wing moderates and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I think there's fears on the left about doing the same thing, like watering down the movement. And I do understand that, but we got to remember that people are people, not political pawns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I don't know, it just seems like infighting and like purity testing, right? And being like, well, I am a leftist of this sect and we make our own clothes. And I'm like, okay, cool. I have to go to the thrift store. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, even like the thrift store, that's a political decision that I make. Mm-hmm. Like I could go to Torrid.com and they have like a 70% off clearance sale for Black Friday weekend. And I could stock up on leggings and tank tops and all the things that I wear. But I don't. I go to the thrift store because I want to put my money like back into the local economy. I want to buy secondhand to like reduce my environmental footprint. Like I have these values, but you can't make every single decision based on every single value that you have.
No, that's why I get so frustrated when I see like I saw a political post the other day that was like, if any, like all of the members of the House of Representatives are up for re-election in 2026 or 20 is coming up at some point. And somebody was like, if they've ever voted to like defund Medicare or to reduce Medicare, then we don't vote for them. And I'm like, you can't make voting decisions based on single issues. It doesn't work. And even this is coming from someone who is very staunchly free Palestine. And I believe that genocide is where you have to draw the line, like all this stuff. At the same time, like that's just not how you make decisions. Like you are a multifaceted human with multifaceted needs. And I think something we could talk about is like political imperfection and like intentionally making imperfect political choices. Mm-hmm. It's really scary, like, and frustrating. Like, and I think we can tie it back into business too, because like, I know you and I had talked about the economic blackout, which is ending, I think ends today at midnight, right?
I think it may have ended yesterday at midnight.
Oh, did it? Okay. I wasn't sure, but the economic blackout, I was planning on participating. And then my husband and I looked at our bills and I was like, I can't participate. Like I physically fucking can't. Mm-hmm. And that was really, really, really sad and scary. And speaking of infighting on the left, I was really worried people were going to be very judgmental and harsh and mean. Nobody was, at least not to my face, which is great. Because people have had no problem being mean to my face in the past. So I'll take it. But it didn't feel like a very good political decision, but it was a good political decision in the sense that it's going to get my family out of debt, which is going to allow me to participate in future events like that. Yeah. Because that's the thing. That's the thing about political imperfection is that it's okay to be imperfect, because this is not every single event or boycott or protest is the make or break moment. That's not how this works.
Right.
It's a momentum thing.
It's sustained action. It's a choir. And if you have to take a breath, the rest of the choir is still singing. Like, that is what activism is. It is not holding every single person who wants change at like metaphorical gunpoint and saying like, no, you have to do everything right.
That is what it feels like sometimes.
It is. And like, look, if you know about Hobby Lobby and you still want to shop at Hobby Lobby, I'm going to give you side eye. I'm going to be like, that sucks. I don't love that you do that. But also maybe there's not a Michael's, and maybe you care more about buying something in your community. Like, even if it's not a locally owned store, like you want the carbon footprint of it. So like you would rather go do all your errands at once rather than order shit from the internet.
Right. Like, that's the thing. If you think about carbon footprint, what's worse? Like, how do you, it's just, you can't boil everything down to good or bad, point blank, no nuance. Like, and this is coming from an autistic person with really bad black or white thinking. So like,
yeah, for sure. It's part of why I like had all those problems. Also, I was on a medication that I think brought out like the OCD a little bit more, the black and white thinking a little bit more, like the morality of it.
Yeah.
So I have fun scrupulosity OCD, which is where I get like obsessive and compulsive about things that are morally good. And I'm like, oh, I can't do that. Like, bruh, I have starved myself because it was, I wanted to be vegan and then I wanted to reduce plastic. So I went to the grocery store and bought stuff that only was not in plastic packaging, which was very little food.
Right.
So even then I'm like, okay, so this has now like flared up my eating disorder because of my environmentalism. And it just like, it goes all the way down. It's just purity testing all the way down.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the fundamental thing that I come back to and that helps me is just remembering that the world is better with you in it. The world is better with your business in it. You're not causing harm by existing. You might be causing discomfort. You might be making mistakes. You might, but your existence is not bad and you don't have to do anything to make up for it.
Hell yeah. Here. Also,
I
like,
just think
the difference between harm and discomfort is something that I have talked about like on my own podcast recently, where like we have learned about harm and like systemic harm and casual ableism, casual racism, like the harm that these things do on the whole. And then we have used that as like a measuring stick for like, you have made me personally uncomfortable and I'm going to tell you that it has harmed me. And then people feel bad because they're like, oh, am I perpetuating harm? Like, I had a brief friendship with somebody who is autistic, and they thought that like they couldn't keep friends because they're autistic. I think they couldn't keep friends because they were an asshole. And I spent a long time being like, well, no, I can't stop being this person's friend because then they're right. Then I have unfriended an autistic person and I am bad. I have done harm. And eventually I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, you're mean all the time. And like, you're so negative all the time. And like some people, that's fine. It's not me. I'm a whimsical little bunny foo-foo, and like I need positivity. And even that, even saying I need positivity, it makes me feel like a bad person, Megan. Because then I'm like, oh, that's toxic positivity. You're doing it badly. You're doing this bad. It's like, no, I just need like a smiley face every once in a while. I just need to know that you do have hope.
Yeah.
But like, no, like they complained all the time. And like I would listen and I would try to be there, but then I would empathize and say like, I'm sorry you're dealing with that. And then they told me, don't say sorry to me. It sounds like you're pitying me. And I'm like, okay, so like now I can't even be myself. Like you're to go back to the manipulation. Like I have to change who I am so that I can be your friend to prove to you that you deserve friends. And eventually that just, it didn't work anymore because that was nonsense.
Yeah. I saw a reel recently, and I didn't watch the whole thing, to be completely transparent, because attention span is shit. But I did think it was kind of funny and had a really good point, at least in the first like 30 seconds. This person was saying like being autistic is not a reason that you have to be a loser. And I was like, God damn. But like what they meant was, yes, certain things are hard for you. Yes, certain things might be impossible for you. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes. And also, like, that doesn't absolve you of any accountability or responsibility to your community,
Right. Like, same with mental illness. Like if you're having a bipolar episode or like a manic episode or something, and like you do something that hurts someone important to you, you have to be accountable to that. You have to have the hard conversation. And, they can come to you and say, look, like you said this to me and it really hurt my feelings. And, now that you're back to like your normal, I would like for us to talk about it. Like you have to apologize. You have to take ownership of what you did, even if it's out of your control. What's in your control is acknowledging what happened and doing the damage control, like rebuilding the trust, the relationship there. Because you can't just be like, well, I have a mental illness, so I get to treat you however I want.
Right.
No, get the fuck away from me. Go do that over there. Not for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's because I think when we say like, oh, you can't unfriend this person because then you're unfriending an autistic person and it's because they're autistic. Like that implies that autistic people not only are all good people, which is not true. Mm-hmm. It also implies that all autistic people are like good friends for you specifically, which is just not true either. Like, you're not even saying someone's a bad person. You just don't want to be friends with them specifically. And sometimes that's just like how it goes.
Sometimes it is, but even that like makes me feel bad because it feels good to be a social chameleon and be liked by everyone.
Wow.
So if I am myself and people don't like that, it's very good for my identity to know who I am, but it also sucks because like there's rejection in there, and that's not always super easy to cope with. I like to think that I'm getting much better at it. Usually, like if somebody reacts to me in that way and they're like, "You're a stupid idiot," then I'm like, "Okay, then you should not follow me on social media," and I just block them. Like,
right.
There's 8 billion people on the planet. I cannot make all of them happy. And also, I want certain people to dislike me. Yes. I want Republicans to be like, nope, that's not for me. Get away, pink-haired weirdo. Like, and I dress that way. I dress to push away Republicans. And, I'm very hot pink and I'm fat and I'm loud and I dance in public. Like, look, I'm sorry, I'm 37 and like they play my jams at the grocery store now.
Yeah.
And it's hard. And so I have to cope with the fact that I am old and that the songs I listened to in high school are like on the classic channels now.
Yeah.
And that they're playing at the Acme. And so I'm going to sing and dance in that Acme. And I don't care if I'm an embarrassing old person. Because, like, fuck you. Like, if I have to hear my jams at the grocery store, I'm at least going to have fun with it.
Yes.
And so like part of it is age, I think, and also part of it is like shadow work and like getting coached on things and being in therapy. But like I know who I am now in a way that I did not 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I've only been getting to know myself for the past like 7 years since I left an abusive marriage. And I was like, okay, like line in the sand, we're starting from scratch. And I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I got diagnosed with ADHD, realized I'm autistic, realized I'm non-binary, like all these things that I had not been allowed to find out about myself because I was in such a like a little veal box of like acceptable identity.
Yeah.
Like my husband even like invalidated my bisexuality. Like I would be like looking in the mirror and feeling myself and being like, oh, look at me in this adorable red dress. I love it. And he's like, I don't even think you're bisexual. I think you're just into yourself. You're like a bird just looking at yourself in the mirror. You're Caitlyn sexual.
What
the
like, fuck?
Bruh. I know, Megan.
That's brutal.
I put up with some stupid shit.
Yeah.
Because I thought we were like star-crossed lovers and he was my love story and the love of my life. And it turns out he was writing that story and making me do stupid things.
Yeah.
So like, no, I can't be with a person who wants to control or change me. Like now with Brennan, we both just want each other to like become more of ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's very nice in a relationship. Highly recommend it. Wait for that. Don't marry the first idiot that looks at you. So, I'm real down on my marriages today.
No, I dig it. They sound like jerks. I did marry the first idiot who looked at me, but he's really sweet and I love him. So.
I also married my first one and then we broke up. And then I married another one and then we broke up. And then I met myself. And since meeting myself, my standards for men have improved.
Yes.
And women.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, ethical business and sales.
Wait, everything else.
No, but really, I think you're gonna have an easier time doing ethical sales and running an ethical business if you are being yourself. Because if you're abandoning yourself, it's really hard to stay true to your values.
And also, people can smell it in your marketing. Like, if you're being fake, they can tell you're being fake. Like, honestly, like, if somebody has, like, a really, like, strong, like, autistic mask, you know, where, like, they're trying to be a normal person, that makes me like recoil and feel like, well, I can't trust you because you're doing something very fake right now. And like, I know that it's a coping skill, but it hits my nervous system in a really like uncanny valley kind of way. I'm like, this is almost you, but you're putting it through a filter so that I will like you more. And that makes me feel manipulated in a bad way. And so it makes me uncomfortable and I don't like it. And, you know, it's not people's fault. It's just a reaction that I have. And then I can choose to move forward through that. But like, you have to be comfortable being yourself. And like, even if you have like sort of an online business persona, like sort of a branded way that you show up, that still has to be true to you. Like,
you can be authentic without being a raw nerve.
Yes. That's a great... I'm going to write it down.
Yeah, because I think this is something I have talked about for a long time, but is especially funny now that I've been diagnosed with a dissociative disorder. But I always say, like, you know, there's lots of yous. And so, like, as long as you're being one of them, like, you're being true to yourself.
I like that.
You know?
I have also joked that my pronouns are they, them, because I am all of the me's I have ever been. And so I am like plural. And then that made me concerned that maybe I also have a dissociative disorder.
They're a great time. They're not. They're
yeah.
signs of lots of pain. But I don't know. It just is. That's how I've always been. So I don't think about it sometimes. And then other times I'm like, God, this sucks. So it depends.
Yeah. No, like I definitely have like modes that I go into. And like
Mhm.
as long as it's me in there driving the bus, like even if it's not the normal driver, then
Mhm.
we're doing okay.
Yeah.
And it's easier to sell things, honestly. Like I made all of those sales because I was so sure of what I was doing and what it provided to the world and like how I
Mhm.
helped people, and I wasn't afraid to talk about it.
Mm.
And like that's really what changed because I still coach great. Like I
Yeah, no,
still
agreed. I'm in Working Title, which is Caitlin's writing incubator program, and it's amazing. And Caitlin's a wonderful coach. So sorry, continue.
like no, but like, I need to hear that sometimes because I
Fuck
don't know. I
yeah.
guess I just like go around being like, oh, well, if I don't know, nobody bought it today, so it must not be good today. Like, no,
Yeah.
like you made me write out 50 benefits of that program.
Mhm.
And I got to 47 before I was like, I literally cannot squeeze another idea out of my brain. I'll go back and try and find 3 more. But like, just that practice of looking at your offer and seeing 50 ways that it could help someone, because I suffer from logistical detail-itis where I'm like, you get a weekly coaching call. And
Yeah.
what you could be selling is like every single question that you have along this process will be met with a compassionate answer and brainstorming to help you get through it and this and that and blah blah. And that was also awesome. And I need to write it down.
Mhm. Write
But
that down. Write down like shoot, I had an idea and it ran away. But basically, like never stare at a blank cursor, cursing your writer's block ever again, because like you'll always have a coach to go to.
yes, like no matter like where you are, what's going on, you will see me within the next couple of weeks.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like there is a place, there is a home base for all of the doubt that you have. Like, and you bring me the doubt,
There's a
and
place
then
to set it down.
yeah, that
Yeah.
part. And like, and that's what I sell. I'm not selling Caitlin will stare at you for 1 hour a week. Like, I am selling you have a place to set down all of your anxiety about writing your book so that you
Yes.
can actually write your book.
I'm looking forward to that today. There's Working Title coaching today, and I'm pretty pumped because I haven't touched my book in a week. So,
Neither have I. And now I have to go drive to Columbus tomorrow morning to pick up some stuff that I bought from somebody in their moving sale because they are now moving within the week. And so I have to finally pick up my stuff.
sure.
So I have to drive to Columbus, which is 2 hours.
Right.
Get that, turn around, come back because I have an 11 o'clock call. So I have to do this at like 6 in the morning.
The worst.
I
I was
know.
gonna say, oh, when are you going to Columbus? I could meet you because if you don't know, Caitlin and I are both in Ohio, but that will not work apparently.
I might try and see if I could do Friday instead because my Friday is wide open.
Mm.
And so if they're available Friday, I would love to have lunch with you in Columbus.
So fun. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, we have yapped about everything for a good 45 minutes or so. Is there anything about like ethical sales or marketing or business that we haven't touched on that you want to make sure we talk about?
I want to talk about consent.
Ooh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. So like I'm very big on like consent based marketing and selling, which is to say like when people come into a consult call with me or discovery call or vibe check or whatever we're calling it, like I tell them very upfront, I'm like, hey, we do the flight attendant thing. I'm like, here's the process. We are going to talk for half an hour. I'm going to ask you about like where you've been in this process, what you've tried and what worked and what didn't work, etc. If you're a good candidate for one of my programs, I will tell you about that service if you want me to. And I set that up at the beginning of the discovery call because I don't want to then get to the pitch and then be like, well, I wasn't here for a pitch. Like, how dare you try to sell me something?
Mm-hmm.
One time, like, this is not about my business, but I used to be a dog food sales rep for Blue Buffalo pet food. And so, like, they would station me at different pet stores. And I'm in my Blue Buffalo polo, my Blue Buffalo apron, holding Blue Buffalo fucking clipboards or something. And this woman is so excited to hear about our cat litter and like fills her cart up with the cat litter. And I was like, yeah, like I would use this litter even if I didn't work for the company. And then she saw all my Blue Buffalo stuff and got pissed and put it back on the shelf and was like, well, if I knew that you were trying to sell me something, I wouldn't have listened to you. And so I never want to run into that. Didn't like that. Didn't care for it. You're in a retail establishment and I'm in a uniform. Like, it's kind of on her, but like I never want to run into that again. And so I tell people like up front, like, hey, I do have something to sell. I even put that in like my nurture sequence. So when people sign up for my emails, they get a little thing that's like, hey, I'm Caitlin. You probably signed up because I said something anti-capitalist and really funny. And like, here's what my email list is. Like I send out roughly one a week and I will sell you things sometimes because I sell things. And like, I just that little touch point of being like, also I run a business. And so sometimes I will sell you things helps. Cause like what you don't want is for people to be like surprised that you're doing sales.
Mm-hmm. And I think the consent thing kind of runs both directions too, where like we want to make sure our people consent to being sold to. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But also like, I am not going to pretend that I'm not going to sell in order to keep them on my list.
Right.
Like you got to be really upfront and honest. So like I had somebody recently email me and say like, hey, I'm getting too many sales emails from you. Is there any way to put me on like a non-sales email list? And I thought about it and I was like, wait, no. I don't send non-sales emails. Like most of my emails are selling something.
Yeah.
Because I'm a business. And so I just responded very kindly, I think, just saying like, hey, actually, I don't offer that. If you want me to unsubscribe you, I absolutely can. Like, I understand.
Yeah.
You know, and so just being upfront, I guess, is part of consent. Like you can't try to mold yourself into what your people want you to be because there's too many of them. You'll end up nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
So
and that's
like
not very consensual on your end either, you know, like
no, like you shouldn't have to like fake stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like the faking it feels gross. Like faking it feels non-consensual. Like you
Right.
basically switched me, you know? Like, oh, I thought this was just going to be like a fun newsletter where like you talk about stuff, but you're selling things and I'm not into that. You should know that very early so that you may now opt out.
Right. Yes, exactly.
And then now when I am writing an email newsletter, I can tell myself all these people want to be here. They know who I am. They chose to join this list.
Mm-hmm.
So sell, goddammit.
Well, and you'll attract more buyers if you're upfront about the fact that you're selling something. Like
Yeah.
you won't want to attract people who don't want to buy from you.
Right. That's not helpful for a business. Like, and you know, a lot of people just love my vibe and they like hanging out with me and hearing what I have to say. And for that, you should follow me on Threads. Like if you're on my email list, I'm going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
I said that with so much more confidence than I feel about it.
No, but I think it helps to say it.
It does. It does. Like, I think I just need to practice it, you know, just practice selling, whether it's a PS, I'm doing this, or like, I need to get a little more on top of my working title marketing because I've got 10 spaces to fill.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking forward to finding those 10 people.
Yes. I'm trying to think if there's anything else about consent that comes up for me. I think something I've been struggling with is like consensual sales when I don't know if I'm an influencer or a business owner. And I'm like kind of both.
Yeah, I would.
Because as an influencer, it almost feels like my job is to be entertaining, and then people feel betrayed when I sell. Mm-hmm. But as a business owner, like I don't get the numbers that I need to run. So like I'm kind of a hybrid, and I know I need to be transparent, and I do try to do that, but also like I also want to connect with as many people as I can, and so like it's tricky.
That's interesting because, like, to me, an influencer is going to sell me stuff. They're probably not going to sell me their stuff, but, like, influencers have brand deals. Influencers are in sales. Like,
yeah, no, that's true.
So, like, that's weird to me that they're like, oh, I just come to you to learn and to get your recommendations for products. Well, like I recommend my products.
Yeah.
You know,
I actually love that. That's really helpful.
This TikTok is sponsored by me, bitch. Like, yeah, no. Look, the people who get mad at you because you're selling are not your people.
It's true. Super true.
Yeah, you're an entrepreneur influencer. It didn't work. An influpreneur.
Influpreneur. I like it.
Yeah. Don't repeat that. But yeah, like consent is just being like, okay, and now I'm going to sell to you. Mm-hmm. And somebody being like, okay, you may now sell to me. Like, and it's, you know, it doesn't ruin the mood.
No, because you set the mood at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Okay. Any other thoughts on ethical sales and marketing? Thoughts on the economic blackout?
I have thoughts, Megan, about promising things.
Ooh, okay.
Because to me, if I say like, here's the promise of my product, I autistically view that as a guarantee. So like, if you know that I've had trouble with this, where I'm like, I can't market saying that Working Title will help you finish your book and get a book deal because I don't know if that's going to happen. And you're like, but there's literally at least one person in here who has finished their novel and gotten a book deal. So like, yeah, huh. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I can't say that because I'm misrepresenting, like, your mileage may vary, you know, but I feel like every single brand is going to promote like their most successful testimonial, right?
It doesn't have to. If that makes you uncomfortable, I don't think you have to. Instead, maybe promote the median. So like, obviously you've got this one person who published a book, got a book deal, like crazy bananas, amazing. Mm-hmm. And not that we want to like rank people, but like just on progress levels, like how much progress have you made since you joined? And then like find that person who's like kind of in the middle and like promote that result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can definitely do that because like there are, there's two people in there who are like in either like revision or like have revised and are now like working on a sequel. And like, that's huge. Like to finish your first draft, honestly, like that's the promise is finish your first draft.
And do you feel confident that most people who join are going to finish their first draft?
I do feel confident.
Boom, done.
Okay. That's fair.
Because yeah, I've heard some interesting things about like people who only promote like their best performing students. It's a little misleading.
Yeah. Like, and I don't like, I want to celebrate Libby 100%. I want to talk about Libby every single freaking day. But like, I also want to talk about you and like the fact that you've had this idea and you could barely get like 20 words in because you were trying to do it at the end of the day after everything else. And then we had a conversation about priority. Mm-hmm. And now you find time to write and you're at the midpoint of your fucking book. And we've been coaching for not that long, like not that long. And that's what it is. Like it's just rocket fuel for your first draft, really.
Yeah.
All right. So I won't promise book deals, but I feel way more comfortable promising a finished first draft.
You can promise a finished first draft and then mention the book deal. Like a book deal is not impossible in this program.
Yeah. Like here's the promise and here's the possibilities.
Yes. Promise and possibilities. I love that.
Okay. Remind me of that.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, I think that's all I've got when it comes to sales and whatnot. I think I do have one more thing.
We're Midwestern and we have ADHD.
Oh, I know. It's a terrible combo. We're never getting out of here.
One more thing.
One more. I have had 3 discovery calls in the last week.
Okay. And
every single one of them has booked one-on-one coaching with me.
Dope.
Well, to be fair, the third person hasn't yet, but they're in my calendar. They said they would, so we'll see. That's bananas. Mm-hmm. I haven't booked a one-on-one client in like 6 months.
I love this for you.
I feel like there's an energetic piece going on here because right before I had all these discovery calls, they were already on the calendar, but before I had them, I had this like almighty crash out where I was like, am I going to sell the business? Am I taking my kids out of daycare? Am I going to just do content creation? Like panic, panic, panic. Like, you know, like I said, my husband and I looked at the bills. We got a little freaked out. And I hadn't made the decision to stick with the business. Like I was still very much on the fence when I had that first discovery call last week. Mm-hmm. And this person was just so sure that I was the right person for them. And I like didn't want to let them down. Like, but also it felt like they were right. Like a lot of the things they were saying we had in common, we did have in common and like I could help with. And it was just, I don't know. I feel like crash outs are part of the process is all I want to say.
Oh, they totally are. Like
sometimes you need the energetic clearing of a crash out.
Yes. A former mentor of mine used to say like the problem is the portal. Like the problem that you are having is the conduit to like your next phase.
Oh, I love that. I was more thinking like, oh, I was energetically constipated and I just needed a really big energetic shit.
I mean, that might be the thing, different metaphor.
Slightly less pretty. But yeah, I love that idea of like the portal.
Yeah, like the solution to your crash out is usually found within the crash out.
Yeah.
Consult your crash out.
I love that. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there that like things have been going much better than usual. I think specifically because I let myself be upset.
Yeah. Because when you're like, it's going to be okay, we're going to figure it out. Like you are kind of toxic positivitying yourself.
Right.
You're bypassing the process of like getting into your feelings and like somatically feeling them. There's a difference between being like, I feel stressed and upset intellectually and letting the despair fill your chest and crying and letting it all out. And then emerging from that being like, well, yeah, I don't want to let this go. So I better figure it out.
The way I described it to a client recently is like you're taking your ups and downs and you're like squishing them into like this very narrow middle. Yes. And it's like kind of frenetic and constipated a little bit. And it's everything's trapped. And then when you allow yourself to dip down and like really feel the crappy things you feel, it gives you momentum and you end up higher than you were before too. It ends up on a little bit of a crazy up and down, but it balances out with much more freedom.
Yeah, like when you try and deny the emotional responses that you are having. And this also comes from masking and bro marketing, right? It's like, don't be vulnerable, exude confidence at all times. Like, no, man, running a business is lonely. It is vulnerable. It sucks that like I have to go find my paycheck every month. Like, yeah, that's rough, buddy. Mm-hmm. And like, it sucks. And we have to feel those feelings of suck so that we can like fully know this is what I want to do. So I have to figure it out. Mm-hmm. As opposed to like, well, if I just figure this out, then it will work. Mm-hmm. You have to be driven to have a business because like, otherwise it's just burnout city.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay.
It's 2:59.
Yep. 2:59. We're going to go. This was awesome. I hope everybody enjoys the replay. And thank you so much for coming on my channel, Caitlin.
It was so much fun.